So today, AI is shifting from a buzzword to a more practical tool for association. But most are still figuring out governance, as you know, ethics, and real number. My today's guest brings a very sharp mind and an Aussie spirit. Julian Moore, based in Australia, has built a reputation for Australia's non-profit specialist and a known AI consultant. From navigating local challenges to making an impact on broader scale, Julian's journey is packed with practical insights and refreshingly honesty. Let's welcome Julian Moore.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Julian, what do you think is the biggest illusion associations have right now about AI?
Oh my word, where to begin? The biggest illusion of AI, the most common things I'm said is it trains on all your data. It just doesn't. It hasn't done that for years. The next thing I'll have is that it's unsafe because it's able to go off and do these things. It's really not. Like, it's only unsafe if you're an installer and systems integrator who doesn't really know what they're doing too much. So you tend to find those sorts of things go around. We have lots of things like it will make stuff up, the hallucinations. They got resolved pretty much. And like in January this year, we're down to 0.03%. It's just, no one's ever explained to anyone how to get such a low rate of hallucinations. So everybody still uses their chat GPT and leaves it on instant and has a bad experience.
So when an association says we are exploring AI, in your opinion, in your experience, what does that usually really mean in practice?
So when you see, on LinkedIn or when you see the newsletters come out and they say that they're exploring, or you're chatting with the CEO and they tell you they're exploring, the lovely thing is that most of the time they mean that they've given accounts to their staff, and if they're using the business accounts, they're very safe, so very secure, nothing's trained on. But what they've done is they've given each staff member an AI to use within their work. That tends to be the exploring phase. What they haven't done is, I guess, integrated it into a workflow. And workflows, as we all us old guys know, they've been around for a long time. You get a member inquiry. Who's dealing with the inquiry? So normally your membership manager. What does your member require? An email or a telephone call back, and with some part of information about your member services or the event you're running, whatever the member's inquired. And then it needs logging typically within the CRM. Well, there are AIs today that do all of that. And building that into a workflow means that you've just freed up your membership manager's time to start developing more member benefits and a better membership experience. So you tend to really think as exploring AI is we're now using a tool within our organization, and then the very next step should be integrating into a workflow. I should say at this phase, don't lose any staff. That's not the point of AI. The point of AI is to augment each of your staff members so they act like 3 staff. So you've literally tripled your staffing levels and output simply by a $20 a month subscription service.
So in that case, do you think we as association leader miss the bus?
Oh no. Oh my word. The most common myth is that you're behind, and these AI companies, and let's keep in mind, there are now something along the region of 60 to 70,000 AI tools. And they would love for everyone to believe that you've missed the bus or you're behind. It's the old sell by fear type of thing. And it's simply not true. When you break it down into the actual numbers. So when you actually break it down, there are people who are using free AI are 1.3 billion. That's 16% of the world's population. And then when you lose the free ones, the ones who have tried it and not gone back or that type of thing, the ones who actually pay $20 per month, you're roughly around 20 million people. Now, straight away, we've gone from billions to 20 million. And then when you break that down, the ones who have got the paid ones and the secure one, they're actually using the services. And then you go, who's integrated it? Who's actually put scaffolding around and using it within their organization to improve workflow and improve outcome, make the members happier, better service, the whole thing? You're down to 2 to 5 million. So quite honestly, AI is not even on the first run of the ladder, let alone moving up the ladder. So no one's behind, just no one. The vast majority of people have never used it, touched it, seen it, or absolutely integrated. So it's every event I'm at, I tend to get people to raise their hands. And it's gone from, do you know about AI, when no one, to now everyone's heard of it. And then you say, who's paying for AI? And at least 75% put their hands down. And then you say, who's built all brand new tools that I've changed the membership experience? You're usually left with about 5 people.
That's an interesting insight. Absolutely. And as you pointed out very correctly, some of these companies are also selling through that fear, okay? And this need to be well thought of. So in that, while we are on that topic, so in case you joined an association tomorrow as a digital advisor, what are the first 3 AI use cases you would implement in, let's say, next 90 days?
What a wonderful question. The very first thing I would do inside any association, I would create a SharePoint drive that has all our information on, and I would use a very secure AI that's more secure than your Microsoft Outlook and email. And I would have it crunch everything. So by the end of the day, I would know who my members are, what they do, how they do it, where they do it, who they do it with, the geographical location of them, what is affecting that industry or sector, what people are working in there, the percentage of members that I have for that sector, and then I'd have it go across the entire internet and all academic papers and all of the university papers and work out how we could be more helpful to them. And then I'd develop our entire strategy around how we can deliver more value to our members. That would be the events, it would be the online resources, and all of these kind of resources then could be created with that single point of view. So that would be the first thing I would do.
Oh, what a wonderful advice. Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of our listeners here, our association leaders, will find a lot of insight from your experience. So, but at the same time, AI is not cheap. It's too popular myth. So where does, and most of the association leaders then will have to justify this, within their board, within their daily workflow. So where does AI actually save money in association workflow, and where it is just an hype?
I actually think the hype tends to be those chatbots. You know, when you have a website that you go to and it has a bot appear or a chat box appear that says, I'm this assistant, how can I help? No one uses them. Just no one uses them. They were kind of the first, I guess, cab off the rank of how we would use AI, and now they're just not used. And we should have really known that when we started rolling them out, because, well, everyone prefers to talk to someone. It was just a bad use case, and now, lucky enough, we're seeing less and less and less of those. Where it saves, effectively, every association is always run on the smell of an oily rag or a shoestring, and we've never had the resources available to us to have full staffing models the way corporates tend to do. And so let's say we have a marketing manager, an event manager, and they both interact with each other. They both, many hats worn. You've got the CEO, and now you've got a 3-person association running somewhere around the $1 to $2 million between the, depending on sector, 300 to, let's say, a couple of thousand members. The marketing person, for the sake of around $100 a month, just became a marketing team. So that marketing team now can produce videos, can produce music, can produce 50 updates per social media, per engagement, per day, can now increase engagement and awareness to the same levels as the really big corporates. They can then identify better level of engagement just through trend analysis. So we've done these 50 this week, every day this week. This is the one our members increased. So we're following trend analysis now. And now the members are seeing you more, they're engaging more, they're actually getting involved. And now what you can actually start doing is using that engagement to inform what events to run, because these are the hot topics. These are the ones that get members excited, what they want to know about. And then from there, your events department, in your one person, now can absolutely score every venue in your area that you're looking to go in 5 minutes. We'll know all the PAX arrangements, floor layout arrangements, where best to put the stage, where best to actually, what venue services they offer, rough estimate of pricing, and all of this without a phone call. You've literally asked your AI to go off and give you this. You can then say, this is the venue we decided, show me within walking distance where I can have a dinner for 200 people. And it will only show you the venues or restaurants that actually can cater for 200 on that day within walking distance. You can then ask about disabled access. You can, and really start forming just that's what would have taken a week was now half a day. So out of there, you can then say, well, here's the hot topics from the marketing department. These will inform the events. The events will inform and how they go through. And then it's like pulling all of this information into that same SharePoint. And now the CEO can say to any government official that they might be looking to lobby or advocate on behalf of, or any sponsor, and say, well, this is the percentage of engagement we get. This is the percentage in the market we get. These are the things that our industry finds most exciting. And now they have all the information, they're armed with all the information. So even to the point where if you want to, the CEO could effectively, and I don't advise this, I've got to say, but the CEO could effectively jump into a cab to go to a meeting. Along the way, the AI could learn who you're meeting, build your PowerPoint presentation around who you're meeting, and build all the stats in that are only relevant to the person you're meaning. So when the CEO gets out, they can plug in and present, and it's all been built on the way there.
That is so powerful. And so let me ask on that point a little more provocative question. So will then AI strengthen member engagement or slowly replace the need for association itself?
Actually, I think associations have never had a bigger meaning right now. If someone said to us that your industry is about to go through the biggest shift in its entire history, associations work on essentially the way they kind of have meaning is because you're there representing on behalf of the members. Now, if someone said to you, your members are all about to be impacted in the way they've never seen before, well, it's now incumbent on every association to go, look, hang on a second, not only are all these things going to happen because this is how artificial intelligence is going to affect you, our members, but this is what you should be doing to actually get an advantage over people who aren't our members. This is what you should be doing to consider how you can win more business, more profit, because they're your members. So it's really about saying, as an association, let us guide you safely, ethically, and to the detriment of someone who isn't a member. So that you hold their hand, and no one else. AI has no credibility, just zero. Like no one, you can imagine if I send you an email and then I have my AI send you an email, we read them very different. We simply go, well, that's an email from Julian. That's an email from Julian's AI. I'm going to really check the AI one to make sure it's told me the truth. Well, you want this rolls through everything in business. So an association has great credibility. It's the single source of truth for the entire sector it represents. And it's long, hard fought to get to that credibility position. So what we need to do now is really grow our associations so that when there's these disruptors come through, you wouldn't have wanted to be the taxi industry a few years ago when Uber come through. Well, you don't want that Uber moment happening for your members. You want your members to see what's coming through, give them all the right advice, and build that credibility and help your members be more successful.
But then, Julian, real barrier is also in adoption, right? We can have all those great products around, information, but on the ground level, it's important that it's adopted well. So what do you think are the real barriers in AI adoption in association, like skills, maybe budget, or is it just simply mindset?
I think it's not so much budget. I mean, if you're a 5-person team, you're probably looking at somewhere around a genuine install. I'm not talking your $20 one. And if you're looking for a genuine use case, around $1,000 a month. By the time you have your whole team on, your board included, and you've got all the variables and links and APIs going on. But for $1,000 a month, so it tends not to be cost. I think the biggest issue is education. You remember when I'm old enough to remember when I was at school. So I'm old enough to remember when calculators come out at school. And my teachers went on strike because they said, why would math teachers need to exist if everyone's got a calculator? But here we are. They're still there. They've just got calculators. Then from there, you go into the workforce and you're taught how to write a letter, like a genuine business letter. And then word processors come through. And the guys who are running the business I was in at the time said, Julian, these word processors, they're not the way. A genuine handwritten will always convey more. And then from word processors, we went through to email, and now email, we're moving through into AI. It's adoption. The only reason things seem slow is because AI is moving so fast. And I think education is the big thing missing. For everyone out there, if you're using AI and having it answer instantly, you're using a really dumb model. It's going to hallucinate, it's going to make things up, it's not trustworthy, it is simply dumb compared to ones that are solving medical conditions and ones that understand entire banking services. You must use a thinking model. 95% of problems in AI are solved just by using a thinking model, yet for some reason we're not educating people.
That's absolutely right. And we see this output day in, day out. But we also at the same time, Julian, know how risk-averse our association boards are, right? Because they're dealing with public money. So how do we convince a risk-averse board to take AI seriously without overwhelming them?
Let me give again an example. A government, an Asia Pacific government, we'll leave it at that, calls me in and they're saying, Julian, we're using Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. And our staff aren't using it because they're not finding it helpful. Can you come in and explain to us why? And so by the time I've spoken with them, this is for 1 hour. It wasn't a big, long effort. The board then understood very quickly what Copilot is capable of and what other AIs are capable of and the costs. And when they understand, well, they have the understanding of everything, what the sector is and what AI can do. And now they can join the two together. And then it only takes for one person on the board to say, well, the Plumbers Association, you mean that this AI can see the plans that we're specifying? It can then look to see all the things that are available to purchase and stock numbers and pricing and whether it's available locally. It can then write the proposal and reply to them without a plumber involved. And now suddenly every plumber, whether they're one-man band or more, goes, well, how much does this cost? Because if I had a staff member, they would have to do this. And it's $20 a month. Well, when governments understand that we can serve our population better, we can make them healthier, we can help them engage with their government more, well, that's identical to the way membership should. The big challenge is getting board members to understand their industry's about to go through a massive disruption. Doesn't matter which one. If you're in massage, we now have glasses that will teach masseurs how to touch the body in a way and understand what's beneath the skin. So the training has changed. If you're in authors, well, you'd want the authors to know how it can write. If you're in science and medical discovery, pretty much 90% of all medical discovery this year will be AI enabled, with scientists oversighting and guiding. And then from there, when you're in sports, understanding that your sports person's anatomy can be identified through visual learning. So we can watch a sprinter now and understand their step, gait analysis, posture analysis, all on your phone. There's no one not getting touched here. Everyone is absolutely going to be impacted. You've got time, and we're not too, this big crazy snowball is not here.
Absolutely. And I'm always known for a long-term planning. Associations are very, very long-term. But the present situation for the last couple of years and the rapid AI adoption, or at least the talk going on, is that association, how they're going to embrace AI look like in, let's say, in 5 years, and what happens to those that don't?
If, let's say, the most famous one, which is OpenAI's ChatGPT, they have no idea what's going to be there next year. Just none. The furthest you can look forwards in AI is about 6 to 8 months. And every time they build a new model, they discover new abilities, and the intelligence is more and they understand more. And as we're going through an exponential curve, not a linear growth as we first thought, we're now discovering that these new models, when they come through, are amazing coders. This means now, in Europe and Australia, Claude this week will be able to design. So imagine saying, well, now you're the greatest designer, or one of the greatest. You understand design and color and so forth. It means that now even the smallest associations have designers on hand for their flyers, their proposals, their end of year statements, their annual reports, their events, their everything, their website, the look, the whole thing. It now has a style guide overlaid. It now means that when you project that forwards, if you want to build your own website, you can. It takes about an hour. And all of this is just working with a tool that knows you already. So I think in the future, if you say 5 years, I can't do 5, let's say 3 years. So in 3 years, so in 3 years, I think essentially your website will be artificially intelligent, so it understands which member is engaging with it and adapts to that member. And so if you've got a member and you're a geology association, it's only going to focus on the bits that that member's interested in and show them only the content that they want to see and not the bit they don't. It's then going to be able to encourage them to events that they can actually craft some of the content in and engage them with other members, so that now they can have virtual rooms and conversations around just topics that, again, they're interested in. All of this can happen without us involved. And then from the back end there, it now means that all of this data goes into your SharePoint, and then all the staff can now start using that data to produce the content, the events, the advocacy, the training, based on your members' engagement piece with your external site. Every single association will have a mobile application, because the only reason we didn't have mobile apps is because they were so expensive. So now you can make your own. Why wouldn't you? So it's really a case of, I don't believe there'll be an association that doesn't have some form of personalized engagement piece for members within 3 years.
That's interesting. And the key takeaway here is personalization. I think long ago, or still today, quite a lot of associations are serving their member like in a single way or the same way, and which may not be the need of that specific member. So now with AI, we have the opportunity, or association will have the opportunity to design content in a personalized way. And that's where I think in the long term, create a glue between the member and the association. So we heard all this good thing. But then if you have to give one brutally honest warning to association leader without upsetting them about AI, what would that be?
A brutally honest warning. ignore it at your peril. I think you've got plenty of time, and don't rush, but ignore it at your peril. Again, the taxi analogy, you wouldn't want to be a taxi association when Uber now exists, and you don't want to be the word processor association now email exists. The last thing you want is to become irrelevant. You've worked so hard to build, associations are so tough to get underway and build and become established and gain the credibility. The last thing you want to do is become irrelevant simply because you went, no, we're not doing this. We don't have a choice. You really need to understand it and its impact on your members as soon as possible.
So my key takeaway here is the relevance, okay? And that's quite a lot of associations are, of course, focused on. Some of them are learning on it. However, in this AI deep down discussion, I learned a lot, and I'm sure the listener, those who are have this opportunity to listen to this, have learned a lot. So thank you, Julian, with all this. And I hope that we will have, again, a future opportunity to talk to you more, to dig deep in this, and we can create an ecosystem where AI can be our enabler in terms of creating a more relevant association community. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.